Bonjour, good afternoon. Thank you, Alexandra, for the short introduction. So after 15 years experience in research and technology within the Air Liquide group, I've taken the responsibility of the deep tech business development and marketing team. So what we do is to watch for new opportunities, open new markets, and especially watch for game changers that can bring sustainable growth to our company. So Air Liquide, you well-known group, industry leader in the field of gases, technology, services for the industry and health. But do you know what we do in space? Generally, it is less known what we are doing in this sector. So I'm very glad to be here with you today and explain you what we do there and how we're inventing the future. So inventing the future is part of Air Liquide DNA. I mean, we have done it for more a century. We innovate, we address customer requirements that are always more and more challenging in scientific domain and technological domain. And we do that always with the aim to be useful for the society as a whole. Of course, we keep the focus on the area where we can make a difference. The best example is space. Our participation in the space industry is a success. Today, we can say that we are a reference partner in the field of gas and cryogenics, from launcher propellant, launcher equipment, up to equipment embarked on spacecraft. You know that space has been always driven by technology disruption. And probably you have in mind those inventions that derive from space exploration and that we use in our everyday lives, such as memory foam or portable smoke detectors. That's just two of them, but there are many others. For instance, in the recent past, I mean, we can mention this extraordinary achievement by Elon Musk and SpaceX with the reusability of rocket's first stage that was achieved in 2010. But the rates that we are seeing in space in terms of innovation are unbelievable. And more is to expect from the future, and especially when we look at the approach on sustainability. With the use of resources from the Moon and Mars. This is going to drastically change. We may design and configure the space mission. And we believe this is going to be the next ambition for the space power for the coming decades. And the work is starting now, and you can be part of it. So now back to Air Liquide, about our space odyssey for the last years. In fact, it's about 50 years that we are in space. And it started with the production and management of cryogenic fluids. This is liquid oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, helium, that we produce especially in Kourou Space Center to deliver the rockets that launched in Guyana. But this is not all. We are also delivering this fluid in the United States to SpaceX, ULA, in Cape Canaveral and Vandenberg spaceport, and we are present in other countries as well. That's for the gas part. Now, if we think about equipment, launcher equipment, we have designed and manufactured all the internal cryogenic for the European launcher Ariane. Just to give you an order of magnitude, this is 700 reservoirs that has been designed and manufactured by Air Liquide, sent to space. This is impressive. And today, we are a key partner of CNES and Ariane Group, and we bring our expertise for the Ariane 6 program. In the last decade as well, we have entered the world of satellite manufacturing for electric propulsion. And we bring innovation around xenon and krypton, which are heavy gases that are needed to precisely monitor the position of satellite on the right orbit. But that's not all. We also, in the field of cooling satellite, with innovation to bring down the equipment close to the ultimate zero temperature for Earth observation. So why do you need that? I mean, you need that to get the high definition image that astrophysicists need for watching the distant stars and galaxies of the universe. And we have flagships such as Planck and Herschel mission where we have been able to provide our solution. And it's also needed to control the Earth's atmosphere composition and monitor climate change, and also to watch for weather forecast. And our equipment are embarked on Meteosat 3rd generation. So you see, this is a very broad aspect of our implication in space, and this is the present. Now, let's talk about the future and how we're going to bring our expertise and solution and how we're going to invent the future. We see this contribution in 3 pillars. So the first one is in the active cooling space. As you know, a high-end scientific mission and Earth observation program are more than ever needed to manage the environment. And here, the R&D that we will do to improve our solution in cooling are going to be essential. And what is interesting for us is it will irrigate more largely the research and development of Air Liquide Group in the field of ultra-low temperature for science and the deep tech. That was the first pillar. Second pillar is in relation to European Green Deal and ambition to carbon neutrality, and also the ambition to greening, spaceport greening by 2030, will continue to advocate for the use of biomethane and green hydrogen for the next generation of launcher and their reusability. This is going to be at the heart of the green transformation of space transport and spaceport operation. And last pillar, is looking further, looking beyond 2030. A new area is opening up for us with the in-situ space resource utilization. And we will try to meet this challenge, bring our expertise and solution in the field of cryogenics and gas management. So if you think now that we are going to be able to use the space resource from the moon and maybe Mars, I mean, this will really revolutionize the space mission. We'll be able to produce and store propellant. We'll be able to produce and store energy and produce oxygen from life support. I mean, we are willing to contribute to this challenge, and the work is starting now. Maybe you know that there is water in regolith on the moon, and water, I mean, is essential for life. You can drink it, but from water, you can split it and get hydrogen and oxygen. And with these 2 molecules, you can start to think about creating a value chain, a water value chain. And the next step there is, okay, then if we have this water value chain, you can think about creating a station between the moon and Earth for orbit refueling, and so forth. So this is the challenge we are looking at. Now, in terms of space sustainability, Of course, there is this water value chain, but this is not all. And what I have in mind, and for me it's really important, is the space debris. And space debris, we need to remove it, we need to reduce it, and if you are space enthusiasts, we should all be concerned about it. So I hope you enjoy this very short journey, space journey with Air Liquide. As you see, we are very proud in the group to perpetuate this space history, always with inventing the spirit. What we see is it really helping us to push the frontiers of technology. It helps us to invent the solution and equipment of the future, and we are very enthusiastic about it. Space is a strategic asset for a group, so I hope you are very enthusiastic too, and thank you for listening to me today. Thank you. So happy to welcome a few questions if we have time.
Yes, we do. If we can have some light in the audience, thank you so much. Any questions for Air Liquide and the future of space transportation?
Thank you. Thank you very much for the intervention. You've talked a lot about hydrogen and about the potential for a hydrogen value chain on the moon after the one that we have here on Earth, of course. What about methane? How far are you in? Can you talk about it? Are you involved in methane, and especially methane in the space industry, of course, given that more and more actors are betting on liquid methane for their next generation launchers? Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much for this question. So yes, absolutely. So this is an excellent question. So we are active exactly in biomethane, because what we see is methane is a molecule, but it's even better if we have biomethane. And what we are seeing is going toward reusability. So you're going to address space debris first aspect, but you can also fuel your rocket with biomethane, which brings a sustainability aspect to it. Today, Air Liquide is a producer and a supplier of biomethane, so this is something we can do. But maybe more on the technical side, what we see is biomethane is very stable in terms of product, in terms of specification, and this might be ideal fit, you know, for rocket engine. So we see it's a very, very good match between biomethane and the space industry. And biomethane, just for those who do not know, this is produced from wasted, biological wasted produced methane, and we capture, clean it, and there we have the methane, the molecule.
Thank you. Additional questions from the audience? Okay, I have a question in mind, Ms. Roma. You mentioned the European Green Deal a little bit earlier in your speech, and I wanted to ask how important for not just Air Liquide, but for industry in general, is this type of climate policy? Do you expect that in the next year, because we're moving towards a more, let's say, a climate-centric policy, do you believe that this will create new opportunities for the space industry as well, and how?
Yes, absolutely. This is going to be a major driver. And there's two aspects. There is the aspect of policy, so pushing each member state to comply to regulation, but this is also bringing a support to innovation and funds of projects based on green policy. And with the Eurozone Europe, we see several aspects, several components on this Green Deal that we're going to embark also space industry in greening of propellant, spacecraft propellant, rocket propellant, satellite propellant. So yes, there is a drive from Europe to go for this green transformation. Absolutely.
No, we hope so. I very much hope so, at least. Any additional questions before we let Madame Roma go? No? Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Roma, for your time and for your speech and for being with us today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.